the start of a very, very important journey for me. It's Wednesday the 19th of February 2014, and this is the last working day of my professional career as a radiographer. I'm retiring early at the age of 55 and really looking forward to it. But I just thought I'd make a little record of my last journey in and my journey home after I've been to work. So here we go. I don't know whether you can see, but it's a Wednesday, so the blue bins are out today. I'm just heading out of the estate, coming out towards the Denwick turn, and just pulling out at the War Memorial now, off past Barter Books and heading up towards the Oaks Hotel, and then it's off down the road to Lesbury on my way to work for the last time. We just left Alnwick now and heading out, crossing the A1 bridge, heading towards Hawk Hill Bank and then down to Lesbury. It's really strange. It's very hard to believe that this is the last time that I'm going to make this trip on my way to work after all these years. It's about 26 years since I joined the Northumbria Healthcare Trust back in 1988 when I started at the Ashington Hospital. So 26 years is a long time to work for the same organisation, and it's going to be really quite strange to leave it, and all the people that I know that work in it still. Although a lot of the people who started with me have long since retired. Here we are, arriving at the bridge over the River Alne in Lesbury, which was built quite a few years ago now to replace the old Packhorse Bridge, and then up the little rise into Hipsburn, and then it's off down the coast road towards Warkworth. It's interesting the number of people at the hospital who've heard that I'm retiring. The thing that people ask most is, well, what are you going to do with yourself? And I always find that quite surprising, that I've got loads of little projects that I want to work on, and do some more cycling as well, get my fitness back. But I'll have absolutely no sort of problem filling my time. And I think one of the most important things for me about retirement is, for the first time really since I started at infant school, I'm going to actually feel free, in that I can do what I want with my time, rather than what either my teachers or my tutors or my employer wants me to do. And of course, things like holidays, even if you're working just 1 or 2 days a week, it makes it impossible to go away for extended periods. I'm just looking over at the sea there towards Cokin Island. It looks a lot calmer than it has recently. But if you're not working, you can book up for much longer periods. And just yesterday, Lorena and I have booked up to take our little caravan over to the Alps for 5 weeks this summer, which we just couldn't possibly do when either one or other of us was working. So now we've just come into Warkworth, the castle up on the hill there. We've just gone past a bank of snowdrops, and I'm just crossing the river now. An old fortified bridge, which you might just see out of the window over my right shoulder on this bend. We're heading up towards the castle in Warkworth. So here we go, up the hill to Warkworth, a sharp bend at the top to the left here. Dr. Cox lives on the right, and then round we go, and we'll have the castle up on my right now. Always looks nice up there, owned by the Duke of Northumberland. So now we're heading onwards towards Amble. So I'm now heading down by the river, where it heads off into the North Sea, and towards Amble. As I was saying, I sort of have lots of things that I want to do, and I certainly will have. was the possibility that there would be some work for me. My manager wanted me to do some project work and things, and I'm disappointed that didn't come off, because I really felt that with the experience that I've got, that I could have made a very real difference to quite a few areas of the service in radiology, because of the experience I have, and I could have also done quite a lot of teaching, which I think would have been very valued by people. But unfortunately there were strings attached to that possibility, and that I had to carry on, at least for part of the time, sitting in a darkened room reporting on x-rays, and I've done more than enough of that over the years. I've done, I don't know, 100, 200,000 cases over the years, and that's really enough, and I've had enough of it. So that was something I wasn't prepared to compromise on. So it's sort of come down to the situation that I do, that I am finishing completely. But that has been a disappointment, because I thought I had quite a bit to offer, but that's no matter. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy not working at all. Here we are, we're passing through Amble now. It's a grey, miserable day, and Amble's looking particularly grey and miserable itself. I have to be a bit careful further along here, because there's quite often a speed camera here in the morning, always hiding behind bushes and goodness knows what, so just keep an eye out for that. But you get used to them after a period of time. I have to confess that I do consider myself to be extremely fortunate to be able to retire at 55. I do feel desperately sorry for particularly the younger colleagues that I'm leaving within the service now, because they're going to have to work to such an age before they're able to get their pensions. I mean, I know I've taken a very much reduced pension by retiring early, but that's because both myself and Lorena, we value time to do what we want above money. I think it's a huge mistake to just continue to work and work and work to get a bigger pension. There comes a point where you're working for money that you don't actually need, but what you're doing is you're giving away time in exchange for that money that you can never ever get back. And certainly, if you look at the curves in terms of age and illness, as you get older, the odds of being poorly just get higher and higher and higher. So we're just taking the chance to try and at least take some time whilst we're both in good health. Just hope that remains the case. I just think it's an absolutely massive mistake to keep on working just for the sake of money that's almost certainly never going to be spent. And you get people who they get their retirement lump sums and things, and they never actually get around to spending them. I've known of a number of cases at work in recent years where people have worked on because they can get the extra years in and all the rest of it, and then they've become very ill, or in some cases died before they've even been able to take any kind of advantage of the pensions they've worked for. But I mentioned before, for the young people, I just feel really sorry for them. And it's a powerful disincentive, I think, now, the way the pension system's going. For at one time working in the NHS, one of them, probably the main attraction, some job security, but also a decent pension at the end of it. But that's all changing, and I can see there being quite a hemorrhage of young talent from the NHS as they sort of see, well, this really isn't going to be worth it at the end of the day, so they'll leave and go and do something else. And I know of a number of people who are already talking along those lines, and that's really before the changes have actually started to bite. It certainly makes the NHS a much less attractive place to work. So now just gone past the turn to Red Row and West Chevington, so we're getting out onto the wide road. There's a cyclist heading along there. hopefully soon be joining him, but it's a bit wet and cold out there at the moment. So past the turn to Acklington. This road here has all been recently resurfaced on the way out to Widrington and Ellington, so it's an awful lot better than it used to be. People sometimes run 10-mile cycling time trials along here, so with this resurfacing having been done, perhaps there'll be some better times. I'm sure it'll certainly make them more interesting events anyway. I've just arrived at the Widrington Inn, the roundabout, and turn off on my left to Druridge. So we're now heading down towards Ellington, probably just about 10 minutes away from the hospital now. Once we get there, that'll be my last journey into work. So the daffodils are just coming out there, and there's a huge bank of snowdrops I just saw on my left. So it's a good time to be leaving work. We're seeing the first little bits of spring starting to appear, and won't be long, I suppose, before the lambs start to appear, and it'll be just great. The sun's starting to brighten up a bit. It's just emerging from a bank of clouds up there. You'll see the Alcan chimneys up in the distance. Of course, that's all closed down now. Well, the power station's still working, but the aluminium smelter's gone, so it's another source of local work gone. We're now at the turn off to Ellington, Linemouth and Cresswell on the left at this little island here. So we'll soon be arriving at the area where the new wind farm, all these wind turbines have been put up, and they're spinning merrily away. I wouldn't have thought it was that windy this morning, but anyway, they're going round, generating some power for us all. We'll take the left turn here towards Newcastle and Ashington. We're probably just 5 minutes away now. We'll be arriving in good time on my last day. And we're just going past the Brewers Fair place at the Queen Elizabeth Country Park now. If you've not been, it's well worth popping in there. You can get a very, very reasonable and perfectly good meal there. I think on some days you get 2 main courses for 10 quid. It's really very, very good value. Just passing the entrance to the Woodhorn Colliery Museum. Turning right, it's probably about the last turn before we arrive at the hospital. There we go. Off under the railway bridge now, and my last journey to work is almost complete. So I've got to find somewhere to park now. Probably see the hospital in the back window. Just got to find somewhere to park, and here begins my last day at work. Okay, so all parked up. Last journey into work complete. I should be coming home in just I'm going home in a few hours time. Mixed emotions, but I've got no regrets about the decision I've made at all. I've definitely done the right thing. Get out whilst the going's good, and whilst Lorena and I have both got some good health. So I'll speak to you later for the return journey.